Welcome back to Federation A to Z. It's Zach here with the 2052 Kentucky Lions team preview. Now, last season, Kentucky got off to a really good start. Went to the wild card series. Actually finished second place for the first time in over a decade in the division. But we lost the wild card series 4-1 a year after winning the Federation Cup series. But to be honest, I was a little surprised we even hung on that long with our aging core. We do have a number of solid players left, and I've been very impressed with their resiliency, especially on the batting side. But let's jump in and take a look at our team preview. So we'll start with the batters first. Our catchers. This year, Declan Fountain, a 31-year-old, is going to start for the first time in his career. He's a glove-first catcher, but that doesn't mean his bat isn't just as impressive. He's only started, 73 games is his highest that he started in his career in a single season. But he's been a consistent backup throughout his time here in Kentucky. Also, we'll have Dermot, I don't know how you say his name. He's been a backup catcher for New Mexico for the last few seasons. He's definitely a bat-first catcher with only a 4 catcher defensive rating. But he just hasn't had the playing time in New Mexico. We'll look to get him a little more involved, maybe 40 or so starts this season in Kentucky. And finally, somebody who has played catcher in the past, but we're switching him to first base this year, is Gil Smith. He's 36 years old at this point. But still rocking that 8 home run power. He hit 30 bombs last season, and he's been a consistent bat in our lineup for many years. He is still a solid defensive catcher. He's even better at catcher than he is at first base, so he'll make the occasional start at first base, but we want to keep that bat active for as long as we can. Going around the infield, I just mentioned that Gil Smith is going to start at first base. Our second baseman might be one of our best players on the roster. His name is Hector Davila. He posted an 8.2 WAR last season, leading the team and setting a career high. He actually is not much of a power hitter, but he managed to hit 17 home runs, stole 82 bases, and had a 122 OPS plus, along with his, I guess, not technically Gold Glove defense because he hasn't won the award just yet, but he is an elite defender at second base. At shortstop, we're going to go with 40-year-old Jimmy Williams to start the season. His defense has been on the decline. His rating has dropped down to 5, mostly because his range is a little bit lower at 6. But his infield error rating and his infield arm are still right up there with the top players in the league. Last season got cut short. He played in just 46 games, started every one of them because of an injury. He did have an average season with the bat, according to OPS. His OPS plus was right at 100. So he got off to a solid start. I'm hoping that he will have maybe this is a victory lap, his 40th and final season. But who knows? His ratings are still high enough he could stick around for another season if he doesn't see a lot of regression. So we'll see if that works out. Third baseman, Roger Peck, has been a staple. He's played in over 2,200 games for the Kentucky Lions. He rarely misses a start, and he's done a really, really excellent job. He's got 440 career home runs, plays in great defense at the hot corner, and he has 7 speed. He can steal a base. He takes the extra base running. 38 home runs last year, 30 stolen bases. He's still in the 30-30 club. And he's coming into his age 37 season. And a couple of backup infielders. Our shortstop / second baseman is going to be 6'8", Juan Ortiz. And despite his 6'8" frame, he is an excellent defender. You'd think someone of his size would be a little bit more bumbly, I guess. A lot of arms and legs flying around. But he also is very quick, and he can steal a base. So, pretty unique player. His bat isn't amazing, but it'll serve a purpose as a backup infielder. He is 28 years old, so he could be around for a couple years. We'll see if Jimmy Williams can hold up, but Juan Ortiz could slot in nicely. Our final infielder on the 26-man roster for opening day is going to be Doug George. He is a contact hitter with quite a bit of speed. Not your prototypical corner infielder because he lacks the home run power to make an impact in the lineup. But he does play an excellent infield at whatever position he's at. The range is a little lacking, which is why he's better at the corners. But he could play second or short in a pinch. Jumping out to the outfield, we've got left fielder Ron Dixon. Always a fan favorite. He's 34 years old, and that kind of seems to be the trend here in Kentucky in 2052. There's a lot of age, especially on the batting side. That Ron Dixon is an all-around hitter. He's got the contact, he's got the gap power, he's got the home run power. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. Just 36 strikeouts last year, 60 the year before that. He did miss some time last year with an injury. Only started 38 games. So hopefully he has a nice bounce back year. He's a speedy guy, and he's a solid outfielder, slightly above average. Not elite or anything like that, but pretty good. Mike Jacobs is going to start in center field. He's known for his defense first, but he's a doubles machine when it comes to the plate. He's got 39 doubles last year. He started all 162 games for us in center field. He's not going to strike out. He's going to have a good at-bat. And somehow his outfield range rating is a 9 when his speed is at a 3. But he makes it work for us, and he's been a useful player. You don't have to worry about what's going to come from center field with Mike Jacobs out there. Another great defensive outfielder is Gianni Gerard. He's going to play right field for us. He started 153 games last year. Slightly below average at the plate. He did not have a great season, but his defense certainly makes up, and his speed-based running ability makes up for his lack of prowess at the plate, we'll say. Backup outfielder will be Mike Hill, who we acquired from New Mexico this offseason. He's definitely going to play against left-handed pitchers. He's got a good left-handed split with that 8 power against lefties. He'll hop in for Dixon when the southpaws are on the mound. Not much of a base stealer. Well, I guess he's got a decent stealing rating, but his speed is at a 1, so he's not going to leg out many infield singles or anything like that. But decent range in the outfield, solid arm. He's going to be a nice player for us to spell Ron Dixon. Finally, outfielder / designated hitter Ademar Bovary. He's been a staple in our lineup and for our team. He was a 15th overall pick in 2042. I don't know how he dropped that far, but he's really developed nicely. His defense is not the best, but despite that, he did play in, 120 games in left field last season. So this season, he's going to get the bulk of his at-bats from the designated hitter role because he's got that 10 home run power. He set career highs in home runs with 52, RBI with 113, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and of course then OPS with a 1076, finishing in second only to, I believe, is Ismael Cordero from New Mexico. So really excited about Bovary and what he can do at the plate this season. He's just 26 years old, so he's got a few good years left in him. If we jump over to the pitching staff now, we'll talk about our starting rotation. Dave Cross is a starting pitcher just acquired from Minnesota in the offseason. We paid a handsome price for him. We gave up one of our best young prospects, a starting pitcher who's 23 years old and might be making his Major League debut this season, as well as a first, second, and fourth round pick in this next year's draft. But I'm hoping that he's worth it. We kind of went all in, acquiring some Major League talent and getting ready to make maybe 1 or 2 more runs at the playoffs before we are forced to retool by retirements and regression. So excited about Dave Cross. He's one of the you could argue top 10, anywhere from maybe like top 8 to top 16 pitcher in the league. Great stuff, excellent control, and the movement is above average as well. Excited to bring his talent. He won 14 games last year with a 2.79 ERA, 154 ERA plus. So hopefully he can continue that trend. He's 31, so a couple good seasons left in him, hopefully. Another pitcher we have is Arturo Vega, 31 years old as well. He's a strikeout guy, but also gets a lot of ground balls. He's got an elite curveball. I've gone with a 4-man rotation a few times, so he's gotten 39, 38, 37, 40 starts. This year we're going to actually start with a 5-man rotation and see how it goes. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Maybe a little extra rest will help him. We'll see if the experiment works out. Chris Colon is a left-handed pitcher. Last season only started 10 games because of an injury. I'm hoping that he can stay healthy and that injury doesn't affect him very long term. He is 33 years old, so regression is right around the corner. But for the moment, I think he'll be a good piece for us, third in the rotation. His control is 8. He only throws about 90 miles an hour, so he's a finesse pitcher with a good changeup. But he's been effective. He knows how to use it. He's been a workhorse for us with a 9 stamina. Lou Best is our 4th starting pitcher, another lefty who's not going to walk too many players. Solid stamina. He's been consistent for us as well, getting above 36, 37, 38 starts each season. So he's been hovering between 3.5, 4.5 WAR for the last couple of seasons. Hopefully he can do that again. Rounding out our rotation will be left-handed pitcher Sean Garnett, another acquisition from New Mexico this season, or this offseason. Another fan favorite. The game says his personality is if he ran for mayor, he'd probably win. So I'm sure the Kentucky fans will take to him just like they did in New Mexico. He really hasn't had the chance the last couple years to really show off his skills. He split time between AAA and the AFBL, but hasn't started many games. I'm hoping that he'll have a season like he did in 2049 with New Mexico. He started 27 games and had a 3.55 ERA. So hopefully he's that same pitcher this season. It would really go a long way towards having a solid rotation. A couple bullpen pieces. We've had Johnny Riley as our bullpen ace the last few years. He's 32 years old, left-handed pitcher. He's got 10 stuff. He's a sinker curveball guy, so he looks to get the ball on the ground and keep it there. He's pitched over 120 innings each of the last 3 seasons out of the bullpen, 72 to 83 games, depending on the season you're looking at. And back-to-back 3 WAR seasons out of the bullpen are great, and this type of guy is always excellent when it comes to playoff time because you always need those multi-inning guys out of the bullpen. We're also going to have Manny Pacheco be our backup stopper. When Riley is tired or out of commission or not pitching well, we'll turn to Pacheco. Talent isn't quite as high, but with 7s across the board, I think he'll be consistent. He was good in a middle relief role last year. He pitched 95 innings. I think that he could potentially start if his curveball improves in the future once our rotation ages a bit more, because Pacheco is 25 years old. Charles, Odenehaus is another pitcher, not like the other two in that he's only got a 2 stamina rating. So he is a guy with great stuff, but he's only going to give you 1 inning, and he's going to throw 12 cutters in that inning, and he's going to be tough on lefties. Just a good guy to have out of the bullpen. He's 32 years old. He'll turn 33 next month in May, or at the end of April. We've also got Ron Anderson, another setup man, low stamina as well, but he's a power pitcher, 95 to 97, with a 10 rated fastball. Probably a lot of life on that fastball. because of the 10 rating, 10 stuff. So we're hoping that his strikeouts per 9 improves from the 8.5 it was last year. He did have some success, but I don't think he played up to his ratings last season. So 87 innings out of the bullpen, and he walked a few too many batters for my liking. Hopefully he can improve a little bit last year or this next year. Another thing about Ron Anderson, he could potentially come off the bench as a pinch hitter if we really needed him to. He's got actually 5 contact and 5 avoid strikeouts when it comes to the plate. So probably won't need it very often, but he is an option. Another pitcher, Don Wheeler, has definitely been an interesting piece. He has been used as a stopper in the past, but he's going to be just our main middle reliever this year, to roll him out 1 or 2 innings at a time in those middle innings to see if we can string along to the back end of the bullpen. Wheeler, I could see him becoming a stopper in the future if Riley starts to regress, but we shall see. He's got 7 stamina, so we can roll him out there quite a bit. Pete Berry is another reliever. I'm really hoping that he makes the jump this year. He's a great teammate, great work ethic. He's been stuck on 7 stuff for a few years. He's 28 years old, so he's probably coming up on the time where he's either got to use it or lose it, because he could be someone that's an elite strikeout pitcher. For now, he's, I would say, excellent, above average, but not quite to that next level. Jose Delgado will be another middle reliever, not someone that we turn to all the time. He was forced to start 33 games last year because of injuries in the starting rotation for Kentucky. We've got a little bit more depth this season. So Delgado, I think, is better suited for a role in the bullpen because of his low stamina, and his 3rd and 4th pitches are a bit suspect. So he's got a good fastball, forkball combination. He will strike guys out, but he's 27 years old, so he's kind of more of a depth piece. And then rounding out our 26-man roster is Jesus Perez, 34-year-old lefty, a veteran leader on this squad. And if you're watching this on video, you'll see that most of these guys, not most, many of the guys have had not exactly shining personalities. So it's good to have a few leaders in our clubhouse. Perez is going to give good innings with good control, and hopefully keep us in some games that we weren't necessarily expecting to be in. So thanks for watching. We'll see what happens with the 2052 Kentucky Lions and the rest of the AFBL.